So I'll tell you right up front what the problem was. It was just the starter switch on top of the starter there. It was not making good contact. It was kind of wallered out inside and it was old. So I replaced the switch and fixed the problem. However, in the process of removing, inspecting, and cleaning the starter, I caused a larger issue. And that took me about 2 days to figure out. If you'd like to watch the rest of the video, I'll show you how I changed that starter switch out and also show you what problem I caused and how I fixed it. Well, the old Cub is still running great, but I've been having a sort of a progressive issue with the starter. It's just getting slower and slower and slower. And we've gotten to the point now where it almost doesn't want to crank the motor over at all. So let me show you. All right, so you can see what I mean there. So I'll get the starter off, give it a good inspection and see what we need to do. First, I'm going to disconnect the battery. First, we're going to look at the teeth on this Bendix. You look right out here at the end of the teeth, you can see some wear. But they actually look pretty good overall. Let me show you one with a bad Bendix real quick so you can see the difference. So here you can easily see how bad these are. I mean, the tooth should extend all the way out to there. So even though these do have some wear on the end, you can definitely tell how much better they are, and they're actually in pretty good condition. So the teeth look pretty good on this starter. The Bendix seems to be free. So let me apply some power to this and see how the motor behaves on the bench. All right, we'll get this switch removed and see what it looks like. Well, it's a little dirty, but it really doesn't look that bad. So something is worn down there that's preventing the contacts from touching. Here I looked at my parts and I found a brand new starter switch. This is from the WD-45 project and I did not use it. If you compare the two side by side, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but they are virtually identical. So because I already had this, it's not costing me any money to buy a new one. I think I'll just go ahead and use this. I really don't want to take the starter apart if I can avoid it. So maybe we can take the dust strap off and just get a peek down in there. And hopefully we can get an idea of its general condition, see if there's a bunch of rust and scale. But if it looks okay, we'll just put it back on the tractor and hope the switch was the whole problem. It looks okay down in there, but it's kind of hard to tell. You can't see a whole lot. What I really want to see is the surface of the armature and the iron cores. Sometimes that gets rust and scale built up on them, and then they don't make good electrical contact. Looks like we do have some, is this scoring? Yeah, just really shallow scoring from something. All right, let's have a look down in here now. That surface there has got some paint worn off. Maybe that's where the scarring took place. Down in there, the brushes look just fine. Now to slide the armature back in, you have to get those brushes out of the way. All right, re-engage the battery and give it a try. But what is a bit troubling and perhaps telling is that after engaging the starter a few times in an attempt to see if it would work, I looked back here and there was smoke coming off the positive side of the battery. So I quickly stopped what I was doing and disengaged my lever here. So that tells me that there's probably a short in the system somewhere, but there's no wires that are grounding out anywhere. Like I said, all these wires are still pretty much new. The battery is fully charged. Everything otherwise seems good. All right, my next course of action, I guess, will be to install a temporary external battery to it and see if I can get it just to crank over with a different battery, sort of not tied into the whole system here. All right, I've got the wires disconnected from the starter. It actually caused a spark on the negative side of the battery terminal down here. So it's still acting like something is shorted out. So I've got the whole thing back off already. And can you see right down in there? You see that one brush is crooked. So let me see if I can fix that. All right, I've got that brush realigned. See if I can get a shot of it. All right, not a very good shot, but it is aligned. Let's give it a try, see if we can get it to at least rotate on the bench now. Yeah, success. All right, seems good and strong too. All right, let me get this, get the switch reinstalled. We'll try that and then we'll put it on the tractor. All right, very good. All right, before I put the dust cover back on, I want to show you what I think was going on here. So not only was one of the brushes sort of cocked and not making good contact, but as a result of that, this whole apparatus on that brush was raised up and cocked a little bit, which I believe was causing it to make contact with the housing of the starter and thereby causing the short. Once I got that brush realigned, the whole apparatus sat back down inside the starter a little bit, and it's no longer making contact with either side of the housing. So I think that's what my secondary problem was. The primary problem, I'm almost 100% sure, was the switch. Let's try it out. All right, here we go. Awesome. All right, good deal, problem solved. So I think the original problem was definitely the switch. I believe I mentioned it before, but this was actually the switch that I got in the parts for my WD-45, and it was identical to the Farmall Cub switch. So that was a primary problem, and then the secondary problem was that brush being crooked and making contact with the housing of the starter and shorting out. And that one was kind of a tough one to figure out because it was acting like there was a short in the system. It just happened to be an internal short in the starter there that threw me for a loop. So that project should have taken about 20 minutes in total, and it took me about 2 days. But sometimes that happens with this old stuff. Troubleshooting is part of the deal. And in this case, I caused a problem with that brush when I was putting it back together. Didn't even realize it.